I'm Enzo Strider with a video about who I think the Arkham Knight may be. Now, I am just coming off the back of recording this the first time. I had to re-record it just to scale it down a bit because I ended up talking for about an hour and a half. The timer wasn't running, so I have no idea how long I was actually recording for. So I have played all three of the Arkham games. Excuse me. So recently some fans have been saying that Arkham Origins sucks. What's the deal with that? It's a damn good game, no worthy addition. I think the word you're looking for is it's not as good as the other two. I'll back you up with that, no problems. But I've played all of the Arkham games. I've read a lot of Batman comics over the years, and I think I know a little bit about Batman comics and the Arkhamverse to try and take a guess at who I think the Arkham Knight is and who I think the Arkham Knight will definitely not be. So under the definitely not be category, there's number one, the Joker. It definitely won't be the Joker. The Joker, spoilers by the way, this is going to have to contain spoilers for me to talk about who I think the Arkham Knight may be in the Batman Arkham Knight video game. But the Joker's death was kind of like the payoff for completing Arkham City. That's your ending. I don't see it being the Joker. It was such a good ending, and the entire DLC, Harley's Revenge DLC pack, seemed to revolve around, her coming to terms with the Joker's death and Batman coming to terms with the Joker's death. I don't think it's going to be the Joker. I think even after Arkham City and Arkham Unhinged graphic novel, I think, which is a digital graphic novel, I think they even said in that the body, Joker's body was cremated, so they can't even put him in a Lazarus pit. If Joker is going to appear in this game, I can only see him appearing as a hallucination due to the Scarecrow's fear gas. I don't think the Joker is going to make an actual physical appearance, but he will appear. I mean, like, he's been in all the other Arkham games, for better or for worse. I was kind of hoping for a different villain in City and Origins, if I'm perfectly honest. Give them a chance to shine, but instead we got the Joker. It's about time we didn't have the Joker in an Arkhamverse game. I would prefer it if he wasn't in it at all. A hallucination at the most. If he suddenly becomes the Arkham Knight and it's just like, it was me all along, Batman, or something, I was just like, oh. I would probably hurl the PS4 that I haven't bought yet out of the window in disgust. This is only next gen can handle it. It's one of the few games out this year. I think there's only 2 games out this year that have actually made me want to get a next generation console, and Arkham Knight is one of them, Dragon Age Inquisition being the other one. So number 2 of who I don't think it is Red Hood. A lot of people have been saying Joker, a lot of people have been saying Red Hood. I understand that these are cool and interesting characters in the comic books, but this is the final Arkhamverse game, and we can't be, this is going to be the 4th game, 3 games in, and have no mention of Red Hood. Because if you were to include him in Arkham Knight, the final Arkham game, you'd also have to explain that he was a former Robin, before the Robin that's already been in the game, the only Robin that's been established in the Arkhamverse. You can't include Tim Drake because he was just a skin for a challenge map. It kind of doesn't count. It has to be story, I believe. It has to actually appear in the story mode for it to be canon, appearance in the Arkhamverse. He was just a skin for a challenge map. I don't even believe he was voiced for that. He just stayed silent. I actually can't remember if Nightwing actually if he said anything during the challenge match. How like sometimes they say something before or after the fight or something like that. I think the Joker says something like, "Didn't I kill you once already?" or something. No, he says that about regular Robin, Tim Drake Robin. So Dick Grayson hasn't been established as a Robin in this game. If you include Red Hood as the Arkham Knight, you'd have to include Jason Todd. You'd have to include. There's been 4 Robins, each with varying degrees of success, and I get confused on which one's which. Well, besides Dick Grayson, because he's like the first original Robin. Actually, I prefer Tim Drake. I think Tim Drake is my favourite Robin. So you'd have to include, and this would be in the story mode, if Red Hood was to be the Arkham Knight, you would have to establish in the story mode, while everything else is going on, that he's a former Robin, that he died, beaten to death by the Joker with a crowbar, if I remember correctly, that he was placed into a Lazarus pit, that he then came back as Red Hood, when Batman didn't know who he was, but then figured out that it was Jason Todd, and the guilt that he felt over Jason Todd, the guilt he felt over failing Jason, that the Red Hood's, former alias of Joker, that's kind of established in Origins. It was kind of a weird inclusion, so who knows, maybe Red Hood will make an appearance, but he won't be the Arkham Knight. I'm not against the Red Hood turn up. I mean, everyone kind of knows who Robin is, and Robin made an appearance in Arkham City, but not everyone knows who Red Hood is. We can't go to the comics really when we're thinking about the Arkhamverse, because people play these games who don't read the comics. Some people go and pick up the comics after reading them. That's perfectly fine. If the games get someone to reading the comics, I'm all for it. But some people play the Arkhamverse games who don't know who the Red Hood is, and it could confuse them. Rocksteady aren't going to take that sort of risk with the story. If it manages to tell all the history of the Red Hood in the Arkham Knight game, they may as well not included the Arkham Knight at all. So I don't think it may as well just have included Red Hood. So I don't think Red Hood is going to be the Arkham Knight, and I don't think he's going to make an appearance in the game. I would like it, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's the Arkham Knight, and I don't think he's going to make an appearance in the game. I think they're going to stick to the established Arkhamverse Robin, Tim Drake, Oracle, who formerly Batgirl, but I don't think in the... You're going to hear that going past in the background. I'm going to try and talk over it because I can hear it and it's distracting me. It's going to go right underneath my window, I guarantee it. So they've established Oracle, Batgirl, but they never say called her Batgirl in the game. It's just Oracle, an ally of Batman. Gives you a little history on her in the logs. It's Oracle. I think it actually says formerly Batgirl in there. For those who don't know, you pick it up, you read it, and even if you don't read the entry, the journal entry, where it explains who Oracle is, so if you don't read it, you just understand that this is a woman who helps Batman, to the non-comic fan, because this has to work when you're dealing with non-comic readers, but they play games and they play the Arkhamverse games. I'm all for that. So it's not going to be Red Hood. Now to, I think, 3 who it possibly could be. I've tried to think of more. I wanted to include Azrael, but this is why I had to re-record the video. I was trying to make it fit as I was recording the video, and it was just like, it was so convoluted. Long story short, but the Azrael Arkham Knight could be because he was Batman previously, but this is going back to the comics. I didn't want to do that because, as I said, not everyone who plays video games reads comics. He could be because he had the bat suit back then. He was brutal Batman. This appears to be like Batman military, brutal, uses a gun. It could be, it could be Michael Lane. I'm sure it's got Michael Lane Azrael. But it's just like, it could be, and I thought, no, it's going too much into the comics and the lore around Azrael. Like, there's lore that contradicts the comics in the comics. It's just like, it was so difficult to make it fit, and I was just like, you know what? Even though his prophecy was so much on the money, where it said in Arkham City, Gotham will burn, and you along with it, it was that prophecy that was making me think, is Azrael actually Arkham Knight? and I was just trying so hard to make it fit, because it was pretty much like this prophecy where in the Arkhamverse magic isn't even established yet. You know, let's face it, prophecies and all that crap is magic. It's just like, you know, it was just so, I was running around in circles with it, trying to make it fit, and it wasn't working. So it would kind of like be kind to justify John Constantine turning up in the final Arkhamverse game just because I like Constantine. I like Azrael, he's an interesting character, and I read the Nightfall story arc. I was sure, like, with that suit knocking around, I thought, well, maybe he's Arkham Knight, maybe not, because it does have his own version of the Batsuit. I believe the Nightfall skin is available for Arkham City, I think, on the PS4 only though. I don't know. So what's it? I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not even going to think about that. Move on. Just I was trying to make Azrael fit, and I just couldn't make it happen. So moving on to 3 that I think it may be. Number 1 is, this isn't in order. My final one is going to be who I definitely think Arkham Knight is. I could be wrong. My opinion will change over the course between now and the game coming out. But number 1 is, or number 3 if you. I'm working backwards towards the most likely one. So number 1, working backwards, is Hush. Again, this is another one I was trying to make fit. It was due to the fact that he now has, at the end of Arkham City, Bruce Wayne's face. I was maybe thinking it's gone one step further, and he's now emulating Batman, trying to take everything that Bruce Wayne has. He is a childhood friend of Bruce Wayne. I don't think he knows who Batman is, that he knows Batman is Bruce Wayne, but he hates Bruce Wayne. Maybe he's trying to take everything away from Bruce Wayne. I'm going to take your face, I'm going to take your friends, I'm going to take your money, because people are going to think I'm you. I'm going to take your life, I'm going to take Batman. I know you're Batman. Maybe he's figured it out somehow. Who knows? Maybe there's another player in this who's told him Batman is Bruce Wayne. But yeah, again, it was a little flimsy for me, just because he had Bruce Wayne's face. It was because he has Bruce's. I think he's still going to be included in the Arkham Knight game, but not as the Arkham Knight. In this final game, I want to see Bruce Wayne die. That's just me. I'm a bit grim, but I also find it a bit inspiring. You know, when a hero dies to fight for what they believe in, dies for what they believe in. You know, if he succeeds but gives his life, that would be the perfect ending for the Arkham Knight and the Arkhamverse for me. Just don't leave it as like he made it out last minute, or he may be alive with a little clue or something. Leave it completely as he may have got out, but then, and Hush is going to have to be in the game for this, but maybe just appear as Hush with Bruce Wayne's face. We know he looks like Bruce Wayne now. I'm sorry to hear that going past in the background, but it's going to have to be established that he looks like Bruce Wayne during the events of the game. At the end of the game, maybe he's been brought in by Robin, and Alfred, Robin, Oracle sit him down and say, like, look, we know you're Tommy Elliot, you're a wanted man, you're a killer. We'll keep quiet if you make a press statement after the Batman's dead, after Bruce Wayne's dead, because people started to suspect Bruce Wayne was Batman. I believe this is the Batman Hush story arc that is I'm channeling here right now, because it is in the Batman Hush storyline in the comics, but it could also make a functioning ending to the Arkhamverse. You know, it's where just you're gonna have to go as out there as Bruce Wayne and make a public statement regarding Batman dying, just so people won't suspect that Bruce Wayne was Batman. Because if people think Batman is Bruce Wayne, it'll detract from the legend, because Batman is a symbol. Don't let what the symbol of Batman stands for die. And Tommy Elliot not wanting to go to prison for being a murderer, you know, will probably agree to this, and be blackmailed, and then they'll just go somewhere where we will never find you, which I'll probably be absolutely fine with as an ending, because I would like to see the Batman die. Maybe leave it up like an explosion that he may have got out of. Leave it purposely open-ended, where he could have survived, maybe. Don't show him after his apparent death. Maybe leave, I don't know, by the Joker's grave or whatever, the bat cowl or something. There's some sort of a batarang, embedded in the door of the Bruce Wayne manor or something. Like Alfred opens the door, you think he hears, the Batmobile rolling or something. There's a batarang just, like in the door of the thing or something, some sort of, like, he may be alive, but don't spell it out. I don't know how. Maybe Alfred puts the photo of Bruce Wayne and his parents down in the Batcave, and like when he comes back, he thinks he hears something. The photo's stuck back up with a batarang in front of it. Something just like he may be still alive. Just like, don't, maybe not kill him out, because Batman doesn't quit. But Bruce Wayne, maybe you can see him retiring, but Batman doesn't retire. He's more than just Bruce Wayne. I believe there's a future version, Batman Beyond, of Batman, and I'm not really keen on that. I like Bruce Wayne, Batman, but that's just me. What was the one next? So Hush, maybe Arkham Knight, but I don't think so. It's a possibility. Number 2 is, I wanted to include Prometheus. I always include Prometheus because I'm such a fan of Prometheus. I'm not going to, because after I kind of shat on the Jason Todd could be Arkham Knight theory, I don't want to include my personal, as a fan, one of my favourite villains, Prometheus. That'd be a bit of a dick move. I'm not going to do that. So instead I'm going to omit, for all the angry people that have watched the video and said, oh, Jason Todd, of course he's going to be in this game, I'm going to omit my own personal favourite from possible Arkham Knight, who the Arkham Knight is beneath the mask. So I'm going to omit Prometheus, or Wrath if you prefer, New 52. It's essentially the same character. I wanted to include Thomas Wayne Jr. as well, but I'm not going to do that. I literally sat down and thought who it could be. And number 2 is Deathstroke. Now, I'm a fan of Deathstroke, I'm not going to hide that. But when I was thinking about it, at the end of Origins, which is the latest game in the Arkhamverse to be released, there was this strange little cutscene at the end of the credits where Deathstroke was approached by Amanda Waller, or is it Waller? I'm sure it's pronounced Waller. Amanda Waller, Skinny Waller of the New 52, approached Deathstroke to work with us, throw some clipboards in, Suicide Squad on it. Now, it could be a little more than that. The Arkham Knight hasn't, it's not been said he works for anyone. It's not that he works for Scarecrow, he doesn't work for Penguin, he's not been given an alliance, he's been given the title, it's Batman Arkham Knight. He's in the title. This is a big deal. He's not just going to be like disposed of easily. He's not going to be a dead shot here. He's not going to be a Mad Hatter. He's not going to be disposed of that easily. He's in the title. He needs to be right there and in your face. And I was just thinking, if the Arkham Knight is going to be Deathstroke with the whole Amanda Waller thing and the Suicide Squad, I was just thinking then it'd also have to be aligned to the Suicide Squad, which was a thing that was making it can't possibly be the Arkham Knight. But Amanda Waller's thing in the New 52 is setting up it was her main thing for a while, the Justice League of America. That's due to end soon with Justice League of America ending, but restarting with Justice League United. They obviously don't work with the American government anymore, because she works for the government. Amanda Waller works for the government. This is a very military styled Batman suit. Deathstroke is military trained. if you're going for a militaristic Batman, you look no further than putting Deathstroke in a military-designed suit sanctioned by the US government, courtesy of Amanda Waller, and send him to fight Batman. The whole thing behind Justice League of America was they were formed to take on the Justice League should they ever step out of line. Now, if Batman's a vigilante and Amanda Waller definitely exists in the Arkhamverse, maybe she's been tasked with forming a squad of villains like the Suicide Squad always is. Maybe Harley Quinn's a double agent, we don't know. She could actually be working with with the other villains, Penguin, Two-Face, whoever else is in here, but also working with the Suicide Squad members. I don't know why the Suicide Squad, that's their... Oh yeah, they're not actually called Suicide Squad, they're called Task Force X, but Suicide Squad for short. If she's actually in the Arkhamverse, is it possible that one of her goals set out by the governing bodies of Gotham, not just the US United States, but could it be one of her objectives is to take Batman out with a government-sanctioned Batman? We'll give Deathstroke, who's got all the training that Batman has, can possibly best him in hand-to-hand combat, but give him a suit of armour that works better than what Batman's does. Like the eyes, and this is where there's a sticking point, are all like lit up and it looks super sleek, super sexy, like it's got gadgets and all sorts. But then that's the one thing where it was sticking, the eyes. Deathstroke famously only has one eye, he's missing his right eye. If it's established in Batman Arkham Origins that he's joined up with Amanda Waller and he's going to be the Arkham Knight, years pass until Arkham Asylum happens. 2 years later, I think, it's Arkham City, and then 1 year later for Arkham Knight. Don't you think in all that time someone would have thought the guy we're putting in the suit only has one eye, may as well not bother putting a second eye on the helmet? So that's kind of like a sticking point for Deathstroke with Slade Wilson. He was kind of the one that seemed so obvious that it could be him, but yet again, I don't think he's going to be the Arkham Knight. It could be just helmet comes off, some guy's there. It's just like, it's just some guy. I think that would be really interesting. It was just some dude. You just took the helmet off. It's some guy there. You don't know who it is. It's just like you've been doing things wrong. Just like this guy who's decided to go one step further since everything that happened at the Arkham Asylum, which is why I took the A on my chest. You've been doing things wrong. You should be killing these guys. They keep getting free. They keep causing chaos. They keep causing deaths. How many more deaths is there going to be until you kill, say the Joker? Joker already dead. Look at how much the crime rate dropped after that. The Penguin, he's killed dozens. If you kill the Penguin, how many lives will you say? You've been doing things wrong, you need to start killing. Just some dude who's been inspired the wrong way by Batman. That could be interesting, but my number one theory on who the Arkham Knight is Batman. It's Bruce Wayne under the helmet. I think in the course of the game, after he's been dosed with the fear toxin, the fear gas, courtesy of Scarecrow, he's going to start hallucinating and believe that the Arkham Knight is 100% real. It's a dark reflection of Batman. It's who Batman could have been if he'd gone down a different path. If he had started killing these villains by being brutal, he probably blames himself for the Joker's death. He did want to save him, but failed in the dying seconds by just dropping something. So, maybe the Joker's death weighs more heavily on him than what we suspect. Maybe he's starting to worry that he's starting to kill his, become that brutal Batman that he never wanted to be. Maybe Arkham Knight is just a personification of that. The brutal Batman that he's always been worried that he'll eventually go mad and lose it and start killing himself. It's kind of one of the things that's talked about in Arkham Asylum, the very first game, that Batman maybe go insane himself one day. It's not mentioned out and out correct, but it's brought up again in Arkham City. And when you think about it, wouldn't it make perfect sense that if he was to go brutal, he would abandon the Batman persona and instead maybe adopt an Arkham Knight persona? The whole Arkham A on his chest, that's just when things started to go bad in his life, back in Arkham Asylum. He's terrified he'll be committed. He does think he's insane. It's brought up in Arkham Asylum, it's mentioned again in Arkham City, and if you read Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth, it's talked about in that where Batman may be insane himself. So when I was thinking it harkens back all the way back to Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, where it's discussed that Batman may be insane himself, I thought it seems that would be a perfectly logical thing for Batman to be afraid of. He's never really been afraid of the Joker. It's granted that the Joker has an effect on him, but I don't think he's afraid of him. He's always stood up and faced him. His parents are dying, and people dying in general is a thing that he is afraid of, but his parents' death is something that's kind of been resolved. It just strengthened his resolve in the end. It's never something that has been used to break him down. It seems to give him strength that his parents were the people they were, and that kind of what made Batman what he is and the symbol he is. He may have started because of his parents' death, but he remains Batman because of the symbol he's become. So I do think, top theory, that Arkham Knight doesn't exist. They said it was going to be a brand new character exclusively for the Arkhamverse. It's Jeff Johns working on this character, which makes me all kinds of happy, because if you're familiar with Jeff Johns' work in the New 52, it's pretty much all solid gold. It's kind of like the modern Jesus of comic books. So yeah, I'm extremely happy with how the game's progressing. There's a couple of worrying issues. It's just like everything I've seen of it so far just looks amazing. It looks to be the definitive Batman experience. Combined with these games, it's like, tying the story together. Yeah, it's just, I've enjoyed every single one of these. I'm going to enjoy Arkham Knight, and I'm going to keep an eye out for what Rocksteady are going to be coming out with next. I mean, they've said this is the end of the Arkham trilogy, but they haven't said this is the end for them working with DC Comics. Who knows, they could be working on a Justice League game after Arkham Knight, and if that's the case, I would be extremely interested in that. Maybe a Red Hood game for you Red Hood fans out there. I know you exist, but come on, it's pushing it to try and say that Red Hood's going to be in this game. I don't think he is. They'd have to establish who he is very quickly. Tim Drake, he's a Robin. He turns up in the Robin outfit. Non-comic fans understand that that's Robin. It's just different name. It's not Dick Grayson. They probably don't even realise that there has been more than one Robin. A lot of people don't know that there's been 4 Robins over the years, and I don't think actually Batman works with Robin currently in the comics. He seems to be on his own, or his previous Robin, Damian Wayne, actually died. Spoilers, but that kind of happened like over a year ago now. So yeah, that's where I think the Arkham Knight is. I hope you were at least entertained by this video. I did have to re-record it and cut it down because it was kind of long. It was over an hour of me rambling about the comics. So I've been A7 Strider, and I should go.